Hello, good evening. You're welcome to United Stand. It's Sunday, it's 9 o'clock, and we are live. I'm going to dive straight into this. We've got a lot to cover tonight. Kev, I'm going to come straight to you. You were at the game yesterday. We saw your video last night. You seem pretty disappointed. I mean, it's a 1-0 win. We're still in the FA Cup. But really, who are Sheffield United? I
You
mean,
ready?
we should have absolutely hammered them yesterday. Kev, over to you, mate.
Yeah, for me, that's the thing. I can't remember the last time I come away from Old Trafford actually disappointed that we've won a game. I'm not disappointed that we've won. It's just the manner in the performance. And the thing is, we're at a point now where it's happening every single week. It's not like a one-off where you can just put it down to saying, oh, do you know what? We've had a bad game there. We've just scraped through. This is every single week we are putting up with crap football, and people are sticking up for the manager. Certain people are, and they're saying that the players have to be held accountable. For me, the buck stops with Van Gaal. This is all down to him. You've got really, really good players that have played well season after season, and now for some reason, under the system and the tactics and the guidance of this Dutchman, that they are not performing. And for me, they're having it coached out of them. I've said it. I tweeted it the other day. They're playing with the shackles on. They're not allowed to express themselves. No risk football. Play it right, play it left, play it back. As an attacking force, we are absolutely nothing. And to beat Sheffield United, a League One opposition yesterday at home at Old Trafford, it just, honestly, it's demoralising. You pay good money to go and watch this team, and you want to be entertained. And at the minute, for the money that your working class lads paying, people are bringing the kids, and it costs an absolute bomb to go and watch United. And at the minute, you're just not getting entertained. It's absolute garbage.
That's the thing. I mean, it's not cheap to go to Old Trafford. And to be honest, the same thing keeps happening week in, week out. And I'm going to come to you, Joey, on this because you did the after-match post analysis yesterday. The squad selections that keep getting put out for people to see. I mean, we keep playing two central defensive midfielders. We keep playing Mata on the right. We need natural width, and Mata isn't a winger. We all know that. But it's the same thing week in, week out. We keep seeing the squad selection, and we're all baffled by it. I mean, what do you think? I mean, to me, it's one of Van Gaal's biggest downfalls. It's his squad selections. I mean, against Sheffield United yesterday, there was no need for us to have two holding midfielders. Fellaini, for me, isn't a holding midfielder, but it just saps everything attacking out of the team.
Yeah, I mean, we've known Fellaini as a central midfielder since Moyes tried playing him there his first couple months when he was, when we freshly signed him and he was playing alongside Carrick. And we had that problem where we couldn't even get a forward pass out of our central midfielders. Yeah, I mean, you nailed it right on the head, and I talked about it yesterday. I didn't go too in depth, but I wanted to touch on that too. It doesn't seem like a crazy thing playing players in their natural position, but for some reason we can't get that, and I don't understand that. Now I know he likes players who can play in multiple positions, and that's fine when you need it. If you need Ashley Young to fill in at fullback one game here, one game there, it's not a big deal. But when Mata's completely, continuously playing on the right-hand side, uh, there isn't even. I was looking at the starting 11 yesterday, and there isn't even a recognized winger in the starting 11. And you're playing with wide men. And he even says it in his post-match interview, so it even makes me more baffled. He says, when teams come with the two banks of four, and they sit behind the ball with 10 men, you have to make the pitch as big as possible. Well, to do that, you have to play with wingers. So I don't understand how he's contradicting himself there. And even with Martial, he's playing on the left. He's a better striker than Rooney at this point. It's frustrating. You said it with two CDMs at home to a League One side. And even Herrera is more of a central midfielder. Yeah, he can play 10 and he can create and he's good at that. But play him with Schneiderlin. Let them form a partnership. It's too many square pegs and round holes. Scholes nailed it. I think he said what he said yesterday sums up every Manchester United fan. And it's getting so hard to watch because bar a month and a half last season, last spring, it's been absolutely fucking dreadful. It's been boring. You don't even want to watch. You used to get excited. The game's coming on. You can't even sleep at night. Just to watch your team play, and it's not like that anymore. It is. He is sucking life out of the team, and you just wonder when enough is enough. And if it wasn't enough over that period in December, he's not going anywhere till at least the summer, or until top four is mathematically not possible. Because as long as the sponsorships are coming, Ed Woodward can seal these deals, and the cash is rolling in, he's not going anywhere.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I've been saying it week in, week out. He's not going to get sacked. If anything, he'll walk because his pride will be hit. I think the thing that Scholes was saying yesterday, he's speaking for pretty much every single Man United fan on such a big platform. I mean, it was everywhere. All them interviews that he did yesterday were all over the internet. Man United Twitter pages, retweeting them. I suppose the most exciting thing that happened yesterday was Memphis coming on for the last 10-15 minutes, Alex. I know you've got a video that you've done on him this week coming out, but realistically, it was interesting to see Memphis come on with absolutely no shackles on. He was the first player to take a shot. Granted, it wasn't on target, but that was the most exciting thing. I mean, seeing someone beat a man down the wing. I mean, where is that? Why are we not doing that?
I was listening to TalkSport after the game, and they made an absolutely brilliant point. Like, Memphis came on and he was running at people, he was taking shots, he was the one that actually won the penalty in the end, obviously, with that brilliant run. That people were saying originally, oh, it was a dive, it was a dive. If you watch it back, that was not a dive. He goes clean into his shin and takes him out. Yeah, he may have overacted, but 100% was not a dive. But they were saying, and I 100% agree with them, that if Memphis would have started that game, he would not have been running at players, he would not have been taking shots from there and stuff, because the shackles, as you say, would have been on, and he would have been playing safe, sided passes, he wouldn't have been trying to dribble. It seems to be Martial is the only person that actually continuously runs at people, but that's because he's, we still think that he can't speak English, so he's not fully understanding Van Gaal's philosophy with the boring sideways passes. That honestly can be the only reason for it, because like Memphis, he didn't used to, like when he starts games, he's not trying to beat people, and the worrying thing for me is that just sums him up, which by the way, I don't know if we're going to touch on, but he said a comment after the game, Van Gaal, worse than Moyes ever said, worse than the aspire to be like City, worse than will make it hard for Newcastle to beat us. He said after the game against a League One side, and not top of League One, 9th place in League One, he said, oh, Sheffield United didn't create that many chances. Why is nobody talking about that? We embarrass ourselves by keep on saying to everyone, like, oh, we're the biggest club in the world, we're the biggest club in the world. If we want to put ourselves at Bayern Munich, Real Madrid, Barcelona's level, we should not be playing the way we are, because at the moment, it hurts me to say it, but we are nowhere close to them. And if we're struggling to beat teams that are in League One, and we didn't look convincing at all. We didn't look like breaking them down. And we were playing two holding midfielders at home to a League One side. I hate to see what would have happened if we would have stayed in the Champions League and we would have got Barcelona or Bayern Munich, because I reckon they literally, over 2 legs, would have put about 10 past us.
Yeah, I mean, that's a fear, isn't it? If we were still in the Champions League in the latter stages, we just would have been embarrassed. I mean, I agree with Joey in the sense that if we're going to play 2 central defensive midfielders or 2 centre midfielders, go with Schneidlin, go with Herrera, because they're young, they're pacey, and they'll put themselves about on the pitch. One of the biggest absentees for me yesterday, Kev, and Pereira. I mean, what does Pereira have to do to get in the team? Yesterday, that was the perfect opportunity for him to start a game. I had people tweeting me saying that he's average. I mean, to me, he was the best player on tour that we had. Granted, you can't say that when you're on tour that you're playing against tough opposition. But realistically, Pereira should have been playing yesterday.
Well, that's the thing. And if United don't play the cards right, we're going to have another kind of Paul Pogba situation on our hands. Because we've got a player there that yesterday, if anyone deserves a chance of one of the kids from the youth team, for me it was Pereira, and I would have penciled him in well ahead of Fellaini. Like you just said, Fellaini he is not a central midfielder, and whether he thought he could get away with it against Sheffield United or not, he is not a central midfielder. And Pereira yesterday was a great opportunity for him, and I felt for him. He must have been sat on that bench watching that game, the way it was going as well. And even to leave it to the time when he actually brought him on, just ridiculous really. But it should have been an opportunity for him yesterday if he wanted to test one of the kids. I know the lad there at left back got a chance, but yeah, I think that was a perfect opportunity to get him into the match yesterday, and it would have given us some creativity. But like you touched on there, the starting 11, the minute that team come out, we were playing with no width against Sheffield United. I touched on it yesterday in the afterthoughts. It's just absolutely staggering that Manchester United would set up a team like that. And again, the buck stops with Louis van Gaal for me, mate.
Yeah, I mean, he's sapping the life out of anything creative that we've got. The one thing I'll say about Fellaini, we're never going to be as big as fans on this channel. We haven't been. But the one thing I'll defend him for is that he doesn't pick himself in that team. The manager's putting him in that team, putting him in that position, and he's just absolutely lost in it. If you're going to play Fellaini, play to his strengths. You know, if we're going to put him in, play play long into him and have players running off him. But I mean, we're not even doing that. Joey, can you pick a man of the match yesterday if you have one?
No, I really can't. I'll just give it to Smalling just because they didn't score. I mean, I know he didn't have much to do, but you can't. It's just like you said. There wasn't a shot on target till Memphis came on. Like there was no standout performer. You know, it's just frustrating. No width, and I agree with what Kevin was saying about Fellaini playing to his strengths and everyone. But yeah, no, you can't pick a man of the match. I mean, when you look at the team and how it was set up yesterday, you look at some of the players. You know, Rooney's out there and Mata, and on the back of it, it looks like a strong team, but it's really not because you know what I mean. They couldn't even break the with Sheffield down, and I just think that as soon as he picks that team, we're screwed because Fellaini and CM with Schweinsteiger, you know, it's just like when we have key areas missing on like when he picks his team and he puts Fellaini there with Schweinsteiger, like we were talking about, why playing two CDMs at home? We look a whole different team when Schneiderlin's in there with even Schweinsteiger. So it's just frustrating. But no, I can't pick a man of the match. I mean, I'll give it to Memphis maybe because he got the penalty. You know, Rooney. Hey, I mean, there is a positive. Wayne Rooney scored in all of our games in 2016, so.
He's back. He is back, and he is going to go on a run. Yeah, I mean, I think if I was going to pick a man of the match, Smalling was decent. Darmian was all right. Memphis was the spark when he came on. David De Gea didn't really have much to do. It was just so lethargic. I mean, compared to, you know, we played Swansea, we played Chelsea, and we were thinking, is he doing something a bit different? And then we play against Sheffield, and it's just the same old thing. I'll come back to you, Kev. Was there any standout players for you?
No, honestly, if you'd have come to me with that question then and asked me who was man of the match, I honestly don't think any single one of them United players deserves to even be nominated or classed as a man of the match. Like Joey said, Memphis probably did change the game when he come on. He's won the penalty, but I mean, just going back to it, I mean, it took us 70 minutes to conjure up a shot, and it wasn't even on target. And you're there at Old Trafford, it went wide, and it was Memphis who conjured up the shot that went wide at the Stretford end. And the Stretford end stood up sarcastically applauding. And it was the first, you know, everybody's looking at each other, and at least there was a bit of humour in it. But that's how bad it is at the minute. People are clapping a shot that's gone wide, but sarcastically doing it because we'd actually had an effort on target, but it took us that long to have it. And it's just absolutely soul destroying at the minute. And it's really doing me head in. I'm really not looking forward to playing Newcastle. I do not enjoy watching United anymore. Yesterday, honestly, I think I tweeted you lads at half time and I said I was absolutely ready to walk out the ground. That's how bad it's got now. I was actually just going to walk out, and I should have because I wouldn't have really missed anything. And even when Rooney scored the penalty, I think it's the first time I've never even cheered because I just thought we didn't deserve it. I actually felt sorry for Sheffield United. I thought they've been absolutely robbed, and it's absolutely. I really don't know at the minute. It's a strange situation to be in when you're fearful of every match you go into, because basically the captain of the ship, you've got no trust in him at all of what he's going to do, or the team he's going to put out, or the tactics. It's really, really bad at the minute, mate. Really bad. I'm trying not to swear here as well. I'm trying to keep the language tone down. But
do you know, when we got the penalty, I actually couldn't believe it. I actually laughed out loud and thought, how have we got away with this here? And I think when the penalty went in, it's the first time I've ever seen Old Trafford emptying before the end of the 90 minutes. And I don't know if you saw that, Kev, but to me, the ground was emptying early before kickoff. I've never seen that for a Man United game, ever.
Yeah. And I think, really, I mean, if we could have just put up a clip of Paul Scholes and everything he said after the match yesterday, because, like Joey said, I think he just summed up exactly everything that every Man United fan is feeling in a minute. And for me, Van Gaal is absolutely deluded. He come out after the match, and for me, I watched it back when he walked off the pitch, and for him to say he was waving at the crowd and that, but you could blatantly see on the front row, there's people booing and thumbs down to him, but he's looking past that and waving at the people that are waving at him, and he just blocks all that out. I don't know what he's doing, but Scholes, for me, knocked the nail on the head. You've got knobheads like Fellaini and Wayne Rooney tweeting after the match, great performance, great to be in the next round and that. Paul Scholes said it would take him 3 days to actually get over a performance like that because United played so badly. He said if he played in that team yesterday, it'd take him 3 days to get over it. And you've got Fellaini and Rooney like, woo! We're in the next round, job done and all this. They should hang their heads in shame. They really should come out and say, we were absolutely shit today, but we're through to the next round. I prefer to say that, but that's modern day football for you. It's unbelievable, mate. Unbelievable, Jeff.
I mean, when was the last time United players were interviewed? Because it'd be interesting if they come out in an interview and they say, how do you think that performance went? Because let's face it, footballers aren't the most intelligent. You're gonna come across someone who's gonna speak the truth and basically go, yeah, do you know what, that was shit. Because it's been so bad for so long. Alex, an unbelievable stat. Old Trafford, we have not scored in the first half of a match since September. I mean, that's just ridiculous. That's appalling.
It's absolutely pathetic, but not surprising at all. Like I was saying before, he said after the Swansea game, we were 0-0 down at half-time, I think. We were 0-0 down at half-time. And then in the second half, we scored 2 and they scored 1. And we played a lot more, took a lot more risks. And we're a lot better going forward. And I think if you saw the fan reaction, every single person was saying that we played a lot better in that second half. Then Van Gaal came out after the game and said, I really wasn't happy with the second half. We were much better in the first half. And it's like, I think we had one shot the entire first half, but because we did probably about 4,000 sideways passes and backwards passes back to De Gea and then big hoof up to Fellaini or whoever was playing, then he just constitutes that as good. I've seen people wanting United to lose, etc. So he gets sacked, but I'm at a point that I think the amount of shit performances we've put in and he hasn't got sacked, that I think we could go on a 6-game losing streak from now, and we already did go on 8 games without a win and he didn't get sacked, so I think we could go for another 6 to 8 games and he still wouldn't get sacked. It's just ridiculous, and then that goal is just going to buy him more time, that penalty, and it's as Kev said, I felt sorry for Sheffield as well because they were unlucky. I watched the highlights on Match of the Day afterwards, and it took literally 20 seconds, and I'm not even exaggerating, to get to the second half. And the whole coverage of United lasted about 2 minutes. That shows, because they're not going to show on the highlight show of just a load of sideways passes in the centre of the field, are they? It's just absolutely pathetic, and it's going too far. Like I said, we need to aspire, throwing a David Moyes quote out, we need to aspire to be as good as Bayern, as good as Real Madrid, as good as Barcelona, because that is the sort of money we make. We are Manchester United. We should be able to attract. We're in the biggest club, the biggest league in the world. We should be able to attract all the best players. But I've been saying to people on Twitter before, could you imagine, like, we're linked to the likes of Aubameyang, who I did a video on the other day, like, we're linked with Bale again. If you were an attacking player, would you want to come to United? No chance. Under Van Gaal, not a single chance in the world. It's absolutely pathetic. We've got the slightest bit of competition from City, Chelsea, even Arsenal now. That's how far we've fallen. That Arsenal will get players over us. It's just an absolute joke. And I don't think we'll sign anyone in January. And if we keep this utter disgrace in charge by the summer, we still won't be able to sign anyone because no one will fucking join us.
What'll end up happening is we'll end up with giving him another transfer kitty, and you'll spend money on players who are exciting, and then 6 months later they'll be shadows of the former selves. Ahmed in the comments has just said something pretty good here. Louis van Gaal is too scared of losing to let players express themselves. Joey, do you think that's fair comment at the minute, or do you think it's something different?
I mean, I don't know if that's exactly it, but that's a very good perspective of it, because I was saying in my Stones video that I think part of the reason he plays so defensive is because maybe the team isn't good enough to defend on its own with the injury to Luke Shaw and Darmian not quite fulfilling what we thought he would do. But that's on him too. Like I said, I'm surprised he didn't buy a center back. Well, he did. He bought Rojo. It hasn't really worked out yet. But he didn't buy one last summer when we were linked with Otamendi. Yeah, I think part of that is he's scared to lose. But I think if you look, and somebody tweeted this out when we got Louis van Gaal, if you look at Bayern CEO's comments when they let him go, I think that says everything you need to see right there. He says, quote, "There was nothing enjoyable about Louis van Gaal's football during his time at Bayern." Now, yeah, he did lay the foundations, and he has done some good things while here in terms of getting the deadwood out. And he's we got Martial and some other decent players. But yeah, I mean, I just don't understand. I mean, he's so confident. I mean, all he has to do is look at Moyes. Moyes didn't get the 6 years that he was promised because he missed out on the Champions League, and it wasn't the best football, but I mean, crazy as enough. It was probably better than what it is now. But yeah, I think he's just really comfortable, and I think he knows that he's going to get that last year out of his deal no matter what, as long as he makes the Champions League. And let's be real, he should be able to make the Champions League with this team. We wanted him to challenge for the title, but he should be at least able to make Champions League. But as to why he plays this way and why he comments like nobody's talking about Sheffield United, I don't know, man. Is he just drunk all the time? Who knows? Because you can't say things like that. Like, he's managed at Bayern and Barca. He should know what the fans expect. He should know that this isn't good enough. When you say just because we scored 2 goals, it was a worse half than the first one. I don't know. I just think he's either stoned or drunk all the time. That's just my take on it. But it's just getting frustrated. And even the most patient fan like me is to a point where it's like, what's going to happen?
Yeah, so anyway, do you think that we'll go on a run in the FA Cup, Kev? Do you feel confident? I've seen a lot of people say, I actually saw you say in the United Stand chat, 'cause we were talking about what would you rather win, which do we realistically have a chance of winning either of them, but out of the FA Cup and the Europa League, I said Europa League for the fact that we could get into that Super Cup, so it's a possibility of 2 trophies, and also I have no faith under Van Gaal of us getting in the top 4. So I would truly rather win the Europa League by an absolute mile, just so we secure top 4 for next season, because we need to. Like I touched upon there, we're not going to be able to attract the best players. We're going to struggle to attract the best players as it is. But without Champions League, it's going to be absolutely impossible unless we throw an absolute truckload at them. So how are you feeling about the FA Cup and the Europa League? And do you think realistically we have a chance of winning either of them?
After the Christmas period and watching that yesterday, I mean, how could any United fan be confident of winning anything? That's how it is at the minute. I mean, I said the other day, I love the FA Cup, a bit of an old romantic, grew up watching it. I mentioned about the fact that maybe it has been devalued slightly, and I might have sounded a bit like an Arsenal fan because I was getting giddy about winning the FA Cup. But I think the FA Cup is a great trophy. It would be brilliant to win it, but the way that we played yesterday is going to take a lot. And I think it would be easier maybe to win the FA Cup than it would be the Europa League. I think the Europa League is very difficult to win. Now, don't get me wrong, if I had to maybe choose between the two, then I'd have to totally agree with what you say there, Alex, that obviously it opens up more doors if you did win the Europa League. But before we played against Sheffield United, I did see the FA Cup as a realistic trophy and something that we could win, a trophy in the cabinet. But, I mean, after yesterday's performance, it's doom and gloom, innit? Where do you go from here? I'd love to put it down to a bad day. Maybe if we were playing under David Moyes or whatever, and you might just say it was a bad day at the office and we've scraped through, we're into the next round. But the thing that's getting me, and I keep banging my head against the wall, it's the fact that this is happening every week. It's not a one-off thing. It's every single week. We're setting up the same. It's the same football, and we're being absolutely bored to tears. And I think that video of the lad sat in Old Trafford today, the one that's probably gone viral now, falling asleep watching the match, for me, that it just sums it up at the minute. It's just really hard to take. But yeah, like I say, I think the FA Cup would be a more realistic one than the Europa League, because the Europa League it would be very difficult to win.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, a lot of people are, well, and myself included, when we went out of the Champions League, I was really pissed off. But then, like, kind of like calmed down and like thinking about it. Well, I'm not as excited because we have Van Gaal as manager. But if we didn't have him as manager and say got someone else in, then I'm not too downbeat about being in the Europa League, because we actually have a chance of maybe slim. Like, on paper, our team is good enough to win the Europa League. Like, Dortmund's is better than us. But apart from Dortmund, then we still have got a pretty decent team. It's just the manager that's limiting us. But I would really like it, and we've never won the tournament, so I wouldn't be too downbeat about it. The only problem with the Europa League is that you get all these Russian and Ukrainian teams that we have to do such far travel is the only problem. But what about you, Joey? Are you feeling confident of an FA Cup run, or would you rather have a Europa League run, or do you think perhaps that we could create a miracle and go for both of them?
Wouldn't be nice. We should be going for both of them. You know, we should be trying to win every competition we're in. But going back to the summer and the failed transfer window, and I say failed, I mean, I know we brought some brilliant players in, but we didn't bring enough in. You know, there wasn't enough money spent, in my opinion. I think the FA Cup just completely depends on the draw. You know, if we get a Premier League side, you know, a tough one, you know, an Arsenal or Chelsea or City, we're probably fucked. But I would like to win the Europa League because it guarantees automatic qualification to the Champions League. Also, then that would probably mean there would be 5 teams in the Champions League from England. That's got to do something for the coefficient. I'm sure somebody will correct me if I'm wrong. But yeah, it's just frustrating. And I know there's that statistic about teams that play on Thursday in the Europa League and chances of top 4. So it's going to make for a very, very, very interesting spring. However, I will say I do believe that we are trying to sign players. I don't know if you guys know David Amoyo. He does the translation for DiMarzio, who's a very credible journalist. And he said that Lazio turned down an offer of £37 million or something like that. And then they had already found Philippe Anderson's replacement, and they're just holding out for more money. Because that's what happens when your CEO goes on TV and all of Europe can see him spout off about how much money he has. So, but yeah, I would love to win the FA Cup. It's been so long, you know, it's 11, 12 years now. You know, it's just really like, it's almost like the Super Bowl of the Premier League, or that, you know, of England. Kind of reminds me of that. You know, it's a day out at Wembley. I would just like to make the semifinal. I just want to see United play at Wembley for something big, you know. But Europa League is going to be tough. There are some good teams in it, and like you said, the travel to Eastern Europe on a Thursday, having to play, you know, City away on Sunday. I know there's a real tough run coming up with the Europa League and in the league, and then, you know, you add the FA Cup. But it's gonna be tough. I don't know. It's gonna either get really, really bad, and then it's gonna be he's gone, or it's gonna be we're all gonna be on suicide watch.
Yeah, it has literally come to the point that when we're going against this, whatever they're called, whatever they're called in the Europa League, that I'm actually worried about playing them, and they're like the third place in like the Danish league or some shit like that, something ridiculous. But Joey touched on Felipe Anderson there briefly, Kev. Is there anyone that you'd like to see come in January, or do you think we're not going to sign anyone? Because it kind of does worry me that we bought Will Keane back in off loan, and he has like 5 goals out of like 50 something games in the Championship, which baffles me why, if we're using Will Keane for the first team squad, why we bought him back over James Wilson. But then also we brought Januzaj back from an unsuccessful loan spell at Dortmund. So do you see anyone decent coming in, or do you think we'll just bring these loanees back and that'll be it?
Well, hopefully, I mean, if it is true about Felipe Anderson, I mean, hopefully he's miles better than the last Brazilian we had with the same name, Anderson. If he's anything like the other one that was here, then we're in for a tough old journey with that. But yeah, I mean, that looks on the cards. And I mean, for me at the minute, the kind of players that we need, we're crying out for pace in the final third. I don't think defensively we're a problem. I think Van Gaal, his negativity, he just sets up every match not to lose, and it's nailed on. I mean, the amount of times, like you say, that's the statistic. The last kind of 10 home games, I think we've been 0-0 in 9 of them at half time, and against Norwich, I think we were behind 1-0 at half time, and it just goes to show we just do not have a goal at teams at Old Trafford anymore. And it's just upsetting to watch. But as regards to transfer targets now, I think it's blown out the water big time, because if you're trying to sign players in January, if we're in the market, as reports say, for the kind of player like, say, Gareth Bale, who's just scored a hat-trick the other night and he's banging form, you're going to have to pay a fortune for him. Is he going to want to leave Real Madrid, who are in the Champions League, and come to Man United? But this is the thing, I'm not slagging Manchester United off as a club now. There'll be players seriously thinking about actually coming to United, because why would you want to sign for United now? Yeah, we've got history, we've got this, that, you know, it's a great club. We're playing in front of 67,000 fans every week, or 76,000 fans, sorry. But would you really want to come and get into that setup now, and this so-called United way that we're playing at the minute, and play under Van Gaal in that system? To me, if I was a player, I'd be looking at it and thinking, I think I'll dodge that for a season and see if they bring another manager in. I would not want to play under Van Gaal at all, because he's ruining so many players, so many very good players, and it seems to always be in the attacking third. Defensively, he sorted it out, and like Joey touched on earlier, I think he's built the foundations, but I think he's brought the club as far as he can go. I think he's done his job. He's made us defensively solid, but we need a new manager now who can bring new ideas in the final third, because I think as an attacking force, we're just absolutely non-existent.
I think it's funny, Kev, what you're saying there as well is, I'm just thinking we're quite lucky we actually got Martial, to be honest, especially with the way we're playing. I mean, it's interesting that he chose to come to us when he is such an attacking, quick forward. Alex, I'll come to you on transfers, but first of all, I'll quickly apologise to everyone. I forgot to give British Gas a Christmas tip, so they decided to cut my electricity off just for a slight moment. Anyway, Alex, transfers for you, any main targets?
Yeah, just quickly on Martial, well, I completely agree with me, but it kind of pisses me off when, I know we shouldn't really care what rival fans say, but it pisses me off that when they go on about, that Martial is overrated or overpriced, all this thing. Because I was saying to my dad about it just today, that if you put Martial in Arsenal's team that create like 3 times as many chances as us, then he'd have double the amount of goals that he does now. And he's already like the top, if you put goals and assists combined, he's already the top for his age group in Europe by quite a way. But yeah, I think he joined us because he knew that he would get playing time, whereas if he went to another team, he might not get as much. But in terms of transfers, everyone will say like the likes of Lukaku, the likes of Stones. But I don't think Everton will sell him in January. We'll be very lucky if they sell him in the summer. But with how we're playing with those sorts of players, I just don't even see, because we'll have competition for both of them. Like with Stones, City, Chelsea, and now Barcelona and Real Madrid want John Stones. So we're going to have loads of competition for him. With Lukaku, I'm sure we'll have competition for him as well. I thought that Felipe Anderson looked like he could sign, but then Drawty, just during the show's gone on, has linked me a article saying that Felipe Anderson's apparently come out and said that if United bid for him, he's going to turn us down. So that's him gone out the way. Mane was another one who we could have signed, but Koeman said even if players try to act up to force a move away, he's just going to leave them rotting in the stands for the rest of their contract. So that's another person wiped out. So I literally don't know who we can get. I know it's an unpopular opinion, but I said in the past that maybe I really think we need a third striker, someone that would be happy to sit on the bench. And I know people don't want him, but I would take Charlie Austin as a third choice striker, or even better than Austin is, but I don't think Watford would sell him in January, is that Gaal came out and said that his dream is to play for Man United, and people go on about like, oh, Jamie Vardy this, Jamie Vardy that. I think Gaal is a way better player than Jamie Vardy, and he actually supports United, so at least we know that he'd give 110% for the club. I don't think he's the person that's going to like win us Champions League or whatever as the main striker, but as a like backup for Rooney and Martial, or like someone to bring off the bench, I think Gaal would be a fantastic signing, but it just depends if Watford will sell him, which I highly doubt would happen.
Personally, on Vardy, I think he's a bit. To me, wherever he goes next, it's going to cost 25 million, and to me, it's ridiculous, because is he going to be able to do that season after season? I don't think so. So for me, Vardy wouldn't be a viable option. Personally, I don't think we're going to sign anyone in January. I think we brought Januzaj back for a reason. Yes, his attitude was gone, and we've brought Will Keane back. I just can't see us signing anyone, and if we do, we're going to pay fortunes for them, because Man United always overpay for players and sell them on for really, really little money. We're so bad in the transfer window. Joey, we're going to move on. We've got Newcastle on Tuesday. Must-win game for me. Must win. I'm going along the game. I'm going with one of my mates as a Newcastle fan, and he's just texted me about 10 minutes ago saying, "Are you prepared for the most boring game of the season?" I mean, it's going to be a cold, wintry night up in Newcastle. If you could pick your starting lineup with our current players who are fit, what is your current starting lineup, and how do you see that game going?
I'm going to go, I mean, obviously, De Gea picks himself. Back four almost picks itself. Darmian, Smalling, Blind. I'm going to go with Young at left back. Hopefully he's not in the red zone. He's in the blue zone or the green zone. 4-2-3-1. I would go with Schneiderlin and Herrera. I would go on the left, Memphis. In the middle, I would play Mata. On the right, I would play Lingard. And up top, I'd play Martial. Because I think everybody's in their position. I think that team should be more than capable of putting 3 or 4 past Newcastle. Because, you remember the game last year, how boring that was. Ashley Young scored the winner, 85th or, 85th to 90th. No, I think it's going to be, it's the same old story. Like I said, other than last spring, every game has gone the same exact way. Teams go, all right, here, have the ball. Go ahead. Have it. Don't care. Have 70% possession. We're just going to sit back, nick you on the counter, and beat you 1-0, or it's going to be a 0-0 draw. But, I think we were talking, I think Alex mentioned the second half against Swansea was a lot better in terms of attacking. Even against Chelsea, it seemed to be better. They seemed to be creating a few more chances. So I'm hoping that maybe Sheffield was just, like I was saying earlier, when we play like, Fellaini and Schweinsteiger, it really does affect the team because they don't move the ball side to side quick enough, and everything's just too lethargic. Players aren't moving. It's like, they're not motivated maybe by their manager. I'm not saying, maybe I am, whatever. But yeah, I think it's got to be a win. These next 2 games have to be wins. Liverpool have half their team out injured with hamstring injuries. So I'm hoping, yeah, we just create a shit ton of chances. I hope they move the ball quick. I hope they move it side to side. I hope they switch play, hit the diagonal, and I hope they have a real go at Newcastle, because Newcastle are so bad. Like, they're just, they're not just, boring. They're just horrible. They don't even... So it has to be a win, and it has to be a big win. And I'm hoping that, like last year, this is a start of a decent run that can cement top 4 and then we can reassess in the summer. So, but yeah, that's a team I would pick. I don't think he's going to pick that team. That's what I would pick. I know he's going to put Carrick and Schneiderlin in there. I guarantee that.
Yeah, let's hope Schneiderlin's not in the red zone either. I mean, I can't believe that he got rested yesterday. I mean, what was he doing in December? He was never in the starting lineup, but needed a rest yesterday. Ridiculous. Kev, always a man to be positive. How do you see him? How do you see Tuesday going? Score predictions.
Well, I'll just say with Joey there, I think I would absolutely agree with that lineup. And for me, we just have to have width in the team, because when the starting 11, when I heard it yesterday, that's why I feared for the worst. I thought, what is he doing here? We need width in the team, and if Ashley Young's available, whether he has to play left back or whether Memphis comes in on the left, but Lingard on the right, we have to have that width. Don't play with two central holding midfielders. We've been doing this at home. We've done it against West Ham. We've done it again. It's not working. We don't need to do it. Fair enough if we're in the Champions League and we're playing away to Barcelona and we're going, looking to defend. Then fair enough, you can play them two central midfielders, Schweinsteiger, maybe Carrick, whatever you want. But yeah, what has Schneiderlin done wrong? What has he done wrong? It's baffling again. How many times I have to say that word under Van Gaal? It really is baffling. But the team selection at the minute, it is square pegs in round holes, because if you move these players around, then it's all about the system, and it's just not working at the minute. Martial, I never agree with him being out on the left. Matt is not a right-sided midfielder. Fellaini's not a central midfielder. He's just getting it wrong every time. I was going to say a score prediction. You know what? If I was putting my money on Tuesday night, honestly, if somebody said Paddy Power said you got a free bet there, I'd stick it on 0-0. And that's what watching United at the minute. And you know what? I bet the odds wouldn't even be great on it, the way United are playing at the minute. I really would have to go for 0-0. I'd probably get slated for this now. I really want to be positive, but I think it's a tricky game to be going to, because I know that Newcastle are always up for playing Man United. They see Man United as the rivals, even though, I mean, to us they're nothing. But this is a big game for them. And honestly, I just do not know where the goal's coming from. The only thing I will say is I would wait up until an hour before kickoff to hear the game before I actually made a prediction on it. And on seeing the starting 11, then I'll know whether I'm going to be positive or not. But I mean, I wouldn't bet against Fellaini being in that starting lineup, and there'll be a load of wild cards in where we'll be thinking, what is he playing at here? So, yeah, roll on Tuesday night, Mr. Positivity.
Do you know what? I mean, last season it was dire when we played Newcastle. It was pretty much exactly the same time last year, and we got away with it that night as well with Young scoring. Look, Newcastle fans are up for every single game, whether they're playing crap or not. Newcastle fans will be right behind their team. United players aren't going to want to travel up here and play at 8 o'clock, and to play sideways football. I can see Newcastle nicking a win. I can see Newcastle winning 1-0 and us being back in square one. And I agree with you. I think Fellaini is going to be in the team or involved in some way. If I was going to get my pick of it, I would be playing pretty much the same back four as we did yesterday. I would have Herrera and Schneiderlin. I'd have Rooney at 10, Martial up top, Memphis on the left, and I would be pushing Young on the right, and I'd be dropping Mata. And that's nothing against Mata. It's just purely the fact that he is not a right winger and he's not been playing at number 10. So he is the fall guy for me. Yes, he's a nice bloke, but to me he hasn't performed when he's been given the opportunity at 10. So give someone else the opportunity. Young played really well when he was on the right a couple of weeks ago. So if Young's fit, play him. Alex, any other comments on the Newcastle game?
Yeah, I was just talking to Tim Cohen in the comment section about I would personally, and I put a tweet out yesterday during the Sheffield game saying I don't know why we're just playing with one lone striker, especially with Rooney, and this isn't criticism of Rooney, but he doesn't have the legs anymore to be a lone striker, and I would just go 4-4-2, and it has, like, Watford have been playing 4-4-2 and Leicester have been playing 4-4-2, so it was dying out for a bit, but Man United were built on 4-4-2, and I haven't been 4-4-2's biggest fan in the past, but I think we should just go back to 4-4-2 because like the 4-2-3-1 and everything, or 4-3-3, whatever you call our formation that we've been playing, it just like, we don't seem to be creating chances or anything, but I think we should just go back. I really don't rate him that much, but I would drop Mata for Lingard as well, just because we need some pace on the wings. And I know a lot of people don't like him, but when he is actually up for a game, Memphis is really talented. I still think he will come good. So I would play with two wingers and just go play Martial and Rooney up top, because I think Rooney, he can still do a job up front, but I think he needs someone up there with him. And Martial actually has the pace to like run at people as well. And yeah, Newcastle aren't really going to pose us this sort of. I know this is, by the way, what I'm choosing. I know for 100% fact it won't happen, because I know Van Gaal will try to flood the midfield and play like with 8 centre backs like he always does. But we're against Newcastle. They're not anything special, and I saying that, I realise that they'll probably beat us, but we should really be beating them comfortably, and 4-4-2 I think is just the way to go. They don't have that many like danger men. Wijnaldum's probably their best player, but even he was playing second fiddle to Memphis last season at PSV, and Memphis has like been in and out of the team all season. But I really hope that he gets confidence from that second half performance. But like I said, if he was starting the game, he might not have played like that, because he's being made to play safe. Because people can slate, and like I know that I've like criticised Mata in the past. I've obviously criticised Rooney in the past, but now I'm starting to realise you could literally put Messi, Ronaldo, anyone in this team, and it's the play style. They're just made to play like what you said, robots. That they're just like told what to do, and just all the creativity drilled out of them. We signed Di Maria under Van Gaal, who's literally the most talented player by a mile we signed since Cristiano Ronaldo, and he managed to make him look like a Sunday League player. So, like I said, Martial's only playing well because he's not understanding Van Gaal's instructions, and even or not listening to them. But even Martial, like in a better team, would be playing a lot better. So I don't know. I'm not really that confident. I really hope we win, but I really don't see it happening. To be fair, we struggled last season. It was an Ashley Young goal from like a hideous pass back in like the last second of the game last season was how we beat them. But I could just, and we're so bad from defending from set pieces recently as well, so it really wouldn't surprise me if they scored off like a corner or something, and then we just create nothing going forward. And then even when we do actually, we just always seem in games to start playing when they score against us, because then we're actually taking risks. So why does it take teams actually getting a goal against us and us going behind until we actually start playing? It's an absolute piss take.
Yeah, I agree. I fully agree. Right, just before we wrap up the show, I'm going to have a very quick fire to each of you. Joey, Louis van Gaal, in or out for you?
It's so complicated. It's not just in or out. It's. Look, I don't want to see him here after this year. I don't know if Giggs can get his top 4. I think that's what I'm. You know what I mean? That's so much of it. So it's in until top 4 is even more risky than it is. I don't know. You have to ask me after the next 2 games. I think after the next 2 games, I will 100% commit to your question.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Kev, in or out?
Simple answer. I won't beat around the bush. Out. I wouldn't even give him a lift to the airport. Out.
Alex, in, out?
Getting the fuck out of the club. I'm actually a lot nicer than Kev. I would literally drive all the way from here to his house, drop him off to the airport. I'll even accompany him on the plane all the way back to Holland, just as long as he gets the hell out of this club and never shows his face around it again. Like Joey says about that he wouldn't trust Giggs with it because of not getting top 4, but the way Van Gaal's going, I don't think Van Gaal will get us top 4. I've been like criticising us giving the job to Giggs in the past, and I still wouldn't give it to him, but I would take Giggs any day over Van Gaal at the moment, because we have the players to actually get top 4. Our team is easily good enough to get top 4. It's the management and play style that's holding us back. So I think Giggs would actually make us attack. So I think we could get top 4 under Giggs, but yeah, definitely get him the hell out. But at the same time, it's like it's been way too long that we've dilly-dallied around a bit. He should have gone after the Stoke game. He should have gone after the Norwich game. And anything now, like any more drop points, it's just time we've wasted because he should have been gone ages ago.
Yeah, I'm not going to change my mind. I mean, I think after the West Ham and the Bournemouth game, I was ready for change. I'm not going to be a hypocrite. For me, he's got to go. But I do see what Joey's saying about the top four and the continuity of what we're doing. If we get top four, he stays. I mean, the next two results. I mean, Liverpool's going to be massive. It really is. I suppose the one good thing is he always beats Liverpool, so we might start to see a bit of change. But that's it for tonight. Thanks to everyone who's been watching. Please like the video, please subscribe, please share it about. Obviously on Tuesday we saw Mark's announcement that he's stepping down from the channel. That is Mark's decision, and what I would probably say to all of you guys who subscribe, please respect that decision. Your content in the videos is fantastic, but if Mark comes back, it'll be his own choice to do so. The door is always open to him, same with Droty as well. And what I think all of us would probably say here at the United Stands, we thank Mark for everything that he's done for the channel, but please do respect the fact that he has decided to take himself away from the United Stand. The Twitter page is still going, the website is still going, that is run behind the scenes, it always has been. So please get involved. If anyone wants to get in touch with Mark, he has his own Twitter page, so you can tweet him there. And that's it. I said that I was going to step down, but someone came across with a contract of 4 curly whirlies every week, and I couldn't resist. I could not resist. I had to take it. So I'll go around everyone. Joey, thanks for coming on. Your first show, and you've stepped in this week and done a couple of videos. Fantastic. Let everyone know where they can find you, mate.
Yeah, it's just at Joey Tabor on Twitter. Yeah, thanks for having me. I enjoy talking about United. I don't care what channel it's on, with who it's with, and I had a blast.
And Kev, I'm happy to say that you are still staying on as a regular.
Unfortunately for everybody, yeah, I'm sticking about. My word of advice for tonight, or my top tip, will be if anyone's got children that they have trouble getting to sleep, just record Manchester United and play that to them, and that should get them off to sleep within probably about 5 or 10 seconds. You can find me on Twitter at KevinAshford7. A pleasure as always, and fair play to Joey as well. Good insight and all that. Good to have him on board and all that.
And Alex, any last words from you?
Yeah, well, once again, thanks for Joey coming on. You did some really good contributions, and as Martin said, can we please refrain from saying they come back, Mark, in the comment section. I take so much time going through every single comment and replying to them all, but if you want to reach Mark directly, his Twitter is at Mark Goldbridge, I think, at Mark Goldbridge. Yeah, on Twitter, so tweet him directly, and I'm sure he'll read and reply to you. I'm sure he'll actually be reading the comments as well, but he doesn't really reply that much in them now. And yeah, the show, the Twitter and the YouTube account is run by the admin team. It always has done. It's not Mark, like some people have been saying in the comment section earlier. But yeah, you can contact me on at AXAS23 on Twitter. And thanks for watching, everyone.
Yeah, and just a final word as well to thank you to Callum and Craig and everyone else who's chipped in with videos this week. We are still going to try and get plenty of content out to you every week. As I said, subscribe to the channel. If you want to follow me personally, you can follow me at MUFC Visual. And just thank you very much for everyone, getting behind us this week. It's been a tough week, but we're carrying on. I don't think I've got anything else to say, to be honest. Have a good Monday, everybody, because I don't work Mondays anymore. So have a good weekend, and thanks for watching.